Today, I will be showing you how I trade Bitcoin using the volume profile. Now, we've been using the volume profile in a number of our analysis and trades for a good couple of months now. The results have been really positive. Obviously, when I say positive, I don't mean we're winning every single trade we get into, but every single trade we do get into, we do have a really good understanding of our entries and our exits, right? And in most cases, it actually goes quite well in our favor. And now and again, obviously, it will go bad, but this is the game that we play. So with that said and done, I'm going to give a brief introduction, okay, into the volume profile itself, and just so you can follow along with what I'm sharing with you, especially if you're new to this channel or you're new to this video series, which is all held within a playlist, so you can always go back and go through all of my analysis on any asset that I've talked about. They will be in a playlist and you can just watch them at your own leisure. So with that said and done, first things first, let me break down what we're actually looking at, and this is all in reference to what's going on in this area right here. Okay, so the area that I've just drawn out, that is the volume profile. Okay, so that's the volume profile, and the volume profile consists of 3 areas, right? 2 of them are the same, 1 of them is slightly unique, right? So the first is low value area. So this is a low value area right here, and this is a low value area over here. And this area in the middle, it is the high value area, right? Now, within that, we have the boundary, right? So it's not actually referred to as a boundary, but this is what I call it. I think it's easier that way than saying it the traditional way. So the boundary, the high side of the high value area, the first boundary is this top side right here. The second is the low side of the high value area, that boundary, and that is down here. Okay, so throughout the video, you will see me referring it to those areas as such, right? And in between the high value area, you always have the point of control. Now, price is always attracted to the point of control. It will adjust itself to get back to the point of control. And we can see the point of control all through this chart, but it's manifested differently depending on what time frame we put it on. So for example, if we go onto a really low time frame, okay, and I put on the volume profile, the point of control will be here. Same thing if I was looking at this area, it will be here. So where we see the high value nodes, because that's what these things here are called, the high value nodes, these are areas of where the point of control was depending on the time frame you're looking at it on. And then when we go to the larger time frame, we have the larger high value node, which would then present us with the point of control. And as we can see in all of the spikes that we can see coming through, the biggest one is the one that has the point of control. So you can see once upon a time, it would have been that, it would have been that, and it would have been that, depending 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute, wherever, you would see it in those areas, right? Especially if you're targeting specific locations. Say, for example, if you're only looking at this area right here, you have the point of control here, right? Now, with that side of things done, okay, I know I'm kind of zooming through this quite fast because obviously I want to get on with the rest of the analysis in regards to BTC. You have the low value nodes. Now, the low value nodes is what I incorporate into my strategy, right? So the low value nodes are areas where we don't have that many passive orders, or if any at all, right? So we know up here, we don't have many passive orders, okay? So all up here, chances are we have a whole bunch of sales, people exiting BTC. Okay, down here as well, we have a whole bunch of passive orders, passive sales. They're sitting there as well. Passive buys, passive sales, right? Same thing in this area, low value node, low value node. Okay, so it's the same thing across. This is where there is minimal amount of trades or minimal amount of orders sitting, and where we have high value nodes, it's where the vast majority of business is being done. So all the business is being done in this area, in this area, in this area, in this area. Okay, so now you've got the general gist. We can now get on with the analysis. All right. Okay. So as it stands, last week's recording, I was talking about the probability of price breaking this trend line over here and heading down to the point of control. So I believe it was going to make its way there, right? Now, because we were on last week's video, we was looking at it on the 4 hour, and today we're looking at it on the day, which is more or less kind of the same, slightly different, but kind of the same, right? I believe that this move that I've been telling you about, it is going to be a while before it actually develops, because the last video that I did was around 6 days ago, and around 6 days ago we were sitting somewhere where yeah, we're sitting somewhere about here somewhere, right? We're sitting somewhere about there. So essentially, I mean, if you're thinking about jumping in with a sell and you was selling based on the video that you saw me do, okay, chances are you're sitting in a little bit of profit right now. Chances are you are sitting in a little bit of profit right now, okay? So the main thing is, now the price has now come into this low value node area, or is bouncing from the low value node area. And you might be like, what do I mean by that? Well, we did have a candle come straight in. Whoops. So we just have a candle come in into this area right here, okay? And it's now moving away. So this new day candle that we have, we can see it is pushing up. We can see it is pushing up, okay? So at this point right now, you might think to yourself, maybe price is going to be pushing up, because essentially what it's kind of giving us is a higher low in this area over here. I would turn around and say to you, know what, I think you should be a little bit more patient before you do anything. Why? Because what we have in this area over here, going off what I'm seeing right now, okay, seems to look a lot like a possible descending channel, right? So a range that is a descending channel, which gives the probability of an additional push to the upside. So I'm going to put that on the chart for you now, so at least you can view that, okay? So we're going to put that on. So I'm going to lay it on like this. Now, bearing in mind, this is purely speculative in terms of what I've just put on there, because we still need the price to make its way around to this new trend line for the bottom half of the trend line to be valid. This is a bit of a speculative move that I've put on here, right? So I would say treat it with caution, okay? Right. So with that said, let me change this around, make this a little bit bolder, okay? So with this said now, the probability of price coming back into this zone only to push up, okay, has some level of logic to it. Because first, if this trend line that I've done is indeed valid, it supports this low value node over here, because why? Look, the low value node, price normally uses it as a support or a resistance, right? Depending. And then when the blast is through, that is the confirmation that trend is moving in a particular direction. This is why I like it so much, right? Because it is one of the easiest things to use once you get your head around it, and obviously you configure it properly and all the rest of that cool stuff, right? So with that said, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking price today, tomorrow, it may come down even lower into this zone, okay? At this point, I would expect it to push upwards, which basically for me would mean that if I'm thinking about jumping in with buys on BTC, okay, I would definitely be considering maybe hopping in at this level once I have a confirmed bounce, and we'll be looking at 102,624.81, right? That is what we'll be looking at. And you could argue, you could turn around and say, you know what, it is bouncing from that location, because yesterday's candle, which is this one over here, okay, came in, touched it, and today's candle is moving away from it. So you could say that. But I'm like, you know what, because I've put this trend line, I mean this speculative, right, speculative descending channel, I actually want to wait, okay? So if it comes back into this zone again, I will get it at this price, which would be 102,624.81. And if it breaks above this level over here, okay, then I will then hop in at 112,721.72, right? Because this will be a confirmation. Why? Because it has cleared a low value node, so I'll be expecting a bounce, a retracement into the low value node, only for continuation to the upside. That's how I will read the entire thing. Okay, and we can see that play out here. So I'm going to give you examples of where we have price break through the low value node, you trace back into the low value node, only to continue in the trend that is moving in, right? So for example, we can use what we actually have here for as an example. We can use it, right? What we have here. So here we have price move all the way down and go through the low value node, which is this over here. Okay, we have two low value nodes in this area, so let me just highlight this one for you guys as well. Okay, let me just highlight that. I'll get rid of this in a minute because it's not really relevant, but just to kind of show you, right? So price shoots through the low value node. This is the one we're referring to. Okay, you could even add this one to the mix as well, because that too shows the same type of traits. It doesn't give that much profit, but it kind of illustrates it, right? So it blasts through, it comes back into it. So that's this area right here where it came back into it. Then it moved away some more, right? Then it got to this low value node area, where this area here acted as a support. It just couldn't break through. So price would then go back in to this low value node again, okay, find out it can't get through, and then blast back down again, attempt it again, right? It doesn't work, it blasts all the way back down again. It can't break through this low value node area, so therefore it pushes up. And what happens? It blasts all the way through, only to come back to retest it over here. Then it blasts all the way through again, the continuation, only to come back to retest it at this level. So it blasted through. Sorry, I made it a little bit higher than I should have. It blasted through here, came back in for a retest, blasted through to the upside, found it couldn't break through, came back into this low value node area again, only to take off again. And now it's come back into it. So in my mind, how I've kind of laid everything out for you guys is, simply put, is like this. From what I can see, price is bouncing around in this potential descending channel. That's how it looks to me right now. I may be right, I could be wrong, only time will tell, right? And it's broken this trend line, but this trend line obviously is purely speculative as well, so that one can be adjusted, and I believe when I adjust it again, it's actually going to fit the narrative properly. Why? Because I'm only going to consider this trend line broken once we get a close below this low value node over here. That's the only time I'll consider it. So I will keep adjusting it like this and like that and like that and like that until eventually it gets to this level over here, and I will say I'm happy to say that market has broken my trend line, if that makes sense. So with that said and done, okay, in regards to BTC right now, I would say be patient, put these the descending channel on your chart and monitor the situation. And if it all goes according to plan, you would know if you need to be making decisions from this location over here, or this location over here, or this location over here for the journey to the downside. And at this location over here, you are expecting price to make his way all the way down, potentially to the point of control in the high value area of the volume profile. So with all of that said and done, my awesome people from all around the world, if you have stayed and watched this content up until now, I definitely appreciate you. With all the analysis that I do with you guys, that I share with you guys, it is actually coming from the heart. I'm aiming to put out the best possible content possible in regards to analyzing the market, and I really hope that you guys are able to see that and share your thoughts with that. So with all of that said and done, I will see you all on the next one.